Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the WA Training Awards webinar for individual category applicants. Thank you for joining us. My name is Kirsty and I'm from the WA Training Awards team, and I'll be running the session today. You may have noticed that your setup in Teams is you're muted, sorry. That's just to prevent any background noise while we're playing videos. So if you've got any questions through the session, please just post them in the chat box and we will answer them for you. Any other things I need to mention? If you've got any technical issues, that's okay. You can either ask us and we'll see if we can fix it, or we will be sending out a recording of this video later on, so you won't miss anything at all. We'll also be mentioning lots of links throughout the session, making reference to them, but we won't actually be sharing them throughout. What we'll do is we'll post them all at the end and we'll also email them to you. That way you don't have to sort of jump around through different websites and things right now. So now that we're ready to go, I want to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we live and work, and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Now I'd like to introduce our panel. They'll be providing valuable insight into the application and judging process, and how to get the most out of the Training Awards experience. And I have forgotten to go through the, oops, it's not working. Excuse us 1 minute. My clicker's not working. So sorry about that. We've got our panel members for today. This is Wayne Ryder, who was both the WA and Australian Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Student of the Year in 2022. Hi, Wayne.
Morning.
Thank you for joining us. So Wayne will be sharing some valuable insight about his experience applying and winning and how to get the most out of the process. We also have Penelope Kenish, who works at the department and is an experienced panel member. So she'll be able to provide some insight about what it's like on the other side, you know, as a judge, what they look for, how to get the most out of your story, how to tell your story, I should say. So thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me. There we go. The purpose of today's session is to walk you through the WA Training Awards process, to outline where you can find all the information you need, to provide some tips to help you with your application, and to remind you that the WA Training Awards team is always here and happy to help. So please feel free to contact us, email, call, any questions that you have along the way, please get in touch. So we now want to play a little video about the WA Training Awards.
Welcome to the WA Training Awards.
A very, very special and warm welcome to each of you to this, the 2022 WA Training Awards.
The WA Training Awards recognises excellence in the vocational education and training sector. The award shines a light on WA's brightest stars, encouraging excellence in WA's vet sector through the success stories of winners and finalists. Recognised as the best in the state, individual award winners take home $3,000, plus exposure to a range of professional development opportunities. Organisation winners are regarded as industry leaders, raising their profile within the community and acknowledging their commitment to providing quality training in the state. The WA Training Awards is about discovering ambassadors to champion our vet sector. Real stories from real people, sharing their training experiences to inspire others to pursue a training pathway. There are 13 categories for individual and organisation applicants. Applications are processed through a judging panel made up of industry professionals. Winners are announced and celebrated at the awards ceremony held in September. Individual winners have the opportunity to compete for an applicable award at the Australian Training Awards. The WA Training Awards is a truly rewarding experience, and our team is here to help you achieve your goals.
So So as you can see, there are lots of reasons to apply for the WA Training Awards. Firstly, winners of individual categories receive a $3,000 cash prize. You also receive recognition from your peers as the best in the state, and that can include your community, your industry, your colleagues. It's great recognition. You also have the opportunity to network with other high achievers and potential employers. It looks great on your resume. It can lead to new opportunities personally and professionally. It's also a great opportunity for professional development because even if you don't win, you're still gaining skills in writing an application and selection criteria, maybe in interview techniques, public speaking, and you're learning how to focus on your strengths. So you're gaining a lot throughout the process. And also eligible category winners also will go on to represent WA at the Australian Training Awards. So you also have this amazing network and development opportunity throughout the whole process, and that's quite invaluable. So Wayne, you have an interesting story because you won the WA Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Student of the Year category last year, and then you went on to compete nationally at the Australian Training Awards and you took out the big gong there. So can you tell us about what your journey and experience has been like and what it's like to now be an ambassador?
Yeah, it's been an amazing journey. I actually first applied for the awards, the WA Training Awards, in 2018. Didn't really get anywhere there, but that didn't deter me to apply again last year. And thankfully I put together a winning application, and I think I've grown so much in the last year just from who I was before applying for the award and who I am now. Just the confidence that I have from not only winning the WA award but also the Australian award has taken me to greater heights, and it's just the experience of meeting new people, having those conversations with people in places where you normally wouldn't get that opportunity, and the training awards has just provided me with that opportunity to put me in places where I can shine really and present what I can do best.
Yeah. And so would you say that the opportunity has helped you personally and professionally?
Definitely helped me in both aspects of my professional career and personally. I've changed as a person within myself. I think I've matured a lot, but also gained a lot of respect, not just within family and friends, also out in the Aboriginal community.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So it can be quite a life-changing experience to sort of go through that whole journey.
Definitely life-changing. It's opened up so many doors for me, and then shifted my thinking around my career and where I want to head in the future. And it's not just about myself. It's lifted other people. My family, my kids, my partner, and also people within the Aboriginal community. I get a lot of response from people that know where I've come from and where I'm at now, and what I've achieved. So that just makes me so proud to see other people respect me, but also be proud of me of where I am now.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing. So now that you're convinced that it's worth applying for a WA Training Award, I'll just share some key pieces of information. So there are 4 stages from start to finish throughout the year, if you make it through to each of the subsequent stages. So firstly, we've got our written application, which is due at 5 p.m. on Friday, 28th of April. We then conduct interviews for semi-finalists on Friday, 7th of July. Winners are then announced at a presentation dinner in September, and then eligible category winners go on to compete nationally at the Australian Training Awards in November, which is in Tasmania this year. So 6 out of our 8 individual categories go on to the ATAs, and we provide some professional development training to help you prepare for that next stage. So for us, the purpose of running the WA Training Awards program is to find ambassadors. Excuse me. So we're looking for people who demonstrate and show positive impacts and the contribution that vocational education and training can make, not only on individuals, but on the community and the workplace. So that's what we're looking for. That's why we do this. So all of our individual winners, they go on to become ambassadors for training. So what that means going forward is that you might get to excuse me, sorry, yeah. So you might get to attend lots of different industry events. You might be involved in an advertising campaign. You might do some media interviews. So yeah, sometimes we set up interviews with a local newspaper or radio with one of our ambassadors. And something that you'll definitely be involved in is to be on a judging panel for your category in 2024. So Wayne will be involved this year. So he'll meet this year's applicants and get to hear their stories. So it can be, a bit overwhelming approaching an application process like this and knowing where to start. So what we've tried to do is map it out for you in 5 simple steps. So step 1 is to check the eligibility requirements. These are different for each category. They're available on our website and in the application guide. Again, we'll give you all the links at the end. Something to mention is that for students, you must have completed or be due to complete your training, or your qualification or training contract between 1 October last year and 30th of September this year in a training course that leads to a nationally recognised qualification. For trainers, you have to have delivered training in WA for some period between January last year and December this year. So all of that, there's also additional sort of criteria that's available on the website and in the application guide. So just make sure that you read through all of that and that you can tick all the boxes. Step 2 is to check the conditions of entry. So these again are also available website, application guide. Make sure you can tick all of the boxes and that you know how it might impact your application. So there are things like word limits for the selection criteria. You must also be available for key dates, in particular Friday, 7th of July. If you make it through to interview stage, you have to be available to attend an interview on that day. Before you can submit your application, you must tick a box that says that you abide by the conditions of entry. So just make sure that you've read through all of that and understand it all. Are there any questions so far? Okay, we'll just wait a moment, see if we've got any questions.
Are you able to advise the award date?
So the presentation dinner, it will be in September, but we are still finalising a couple of things, venue and that sort of thing. So that may impact the date. So we will promote that. It'll be on our website. We'll put it on our social media. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll be able to confirm the date. Okay, thank you. And if you have any other questions along the way, just type them in and we'll answer them for you. So step 3 is to review the application guide. So this has all of the selection criteria that you need to address. It also outlines the types of documents that you need to attach. So yeah, there's lots of sort of things there that you'll need to do for each individual category. So just have a read through that and understand what you need to provide. We're just going to play a short video which features one of our award winners from last year, Caitlin, just outlining how to get the most out of the application guide.
My biggest tip when applying for the awards is reading all the criteria of the application, as this ensures that you are not missing on any of the requirements, and it also ensures that you are completing the application correctly and efficiently.
So if you have never written selection criteria before, don't be nervous. It is much easier than you think, and we've tried to provide you with as much help as we can. What we recommend doing is to download the practice template for your category. So that just is a Word document that has each of the selection criteria, and that's the perfect space for you to start brainstorming your ideas, think about your path, your experience, challenges you've faced, and just start making notes under each of the criteria. In terms of structuring your response and using examples, and a good way to structure your examples is to use the 5 W's. So who, what, when, where, and why. So make sure you're covering all of that. Another useful approach can be to use the S.T.A.R method. So I've got a little video from our WA Apprentice of the Year last year, Megan Hazelden, explaining exactly what the S.T.A.R method is.
Applications for the WA Training Awards are open. If this is the first application you've ever written, it can feel a bit overwhelming at first, but don't let that put you off. A great way to approach writing selection criteria is to use the S.T.A.R method. This will help you get the most out of your examples. S.T.A.R stands for Situation, Task, Action and Result. For situation, set the scene and give the important details of your example. With task, describe what your responsibility was. For action, explain what steps you took to address it, and with result, share the outcomes your actions achieved. Visit the WA Training Awards website or contact the team if you have any questions, and all the best with your application.
So we also have some articles on our blog as well that will be beneficial to have a read through. So there's one on selling yourself in your application and one on proofreading. So we'll include the links for those at the end. I just want to ask a couple of questions. So firstly, Wayne, do you have any tips for how you approach writing selection criteria?
The biggest tip I can give is just be yourself. You know, make sure you're telling stories around who you are, your achievements, and you know what you'd like people to know about you. I think, you know, make sure you stick to the word limit. Proofread your stuff. Get other people to read it. You know, when I did my application, I know I sent it to probably 4 or 5 people just to go over it and have a read and you know, give their feedback, and then I went from there and, you know, adjusted a few things. And so, you know, don't be scared to get other people's opinion on, you know, what you're writing. I think that's the best way to go about it.
Yep, excellent advice. And Pen, as a judge, are there particular things that you look for or that stand out to you in an application?
Most definitely. One of the things that really stands out is when you can hear the applicant's voice. Some of them are quite full of character, and that really stands out because you feel that the application is really authentic rather than perhaps a bit stilted. So use your own voice. Another one is that we look for a story. That's something that really stands out, is how has this training changed you? What were you like before? What are you like since? What's actually, how have you actually benefited from it? And the third thing that I'd say we look for is that we're looking for somebody who will be an ambassador, who has the ability to share a story and be confident in standing up and talking. That's something about how are they going to represent us and training in WA.
Yeah, that's wonderful advice. Thank you. So we've sort of covered this a bit from Wayne, but step 4 is to ask for feedback and to get the people around you involved. So yeah, that could be a training provider, a family member, a colleague, someone that you trust, or multiple people, as Wayne said, get them involved, get their feedback. While you're at it, you can ask someone to complete a reference for you. That's something that's required with your application. So you might need a letter of endorsement from your employer or your school to say that they support your application and that they're happy for you to have time off, you know, to complete the process if required. We have templates on our website for all of that. So everything that you need to complete or ask someone else to complete, you know, for you, we've got templates for that for you. So another thing is if you mentioning something in your application, for example, an award you won or an event you attended, you can attach a record of that or something to sort of support that. So it could be a photo or it could be a copy of the award. So yeah, feel free to attach all of those sort of useful bits and pieces, and also make copies of any certificates, qualifications, visa information that is required with your particular category, and just attach that with your application. And then we'd also recommend it's worth having a look at the Industry Training Council for your particular industry. So they have guidance relating to the current training and workforce requirements, faced by your industry. So it's good to incorporate that into your application as well. So step 5, our last step is submitting your application online. So we're going to play a little video just to walk you through the online portal, and then you'll get a good glimpse of what it looks like.
Submitting your application through our website is easy. Log into your account or register. Start a new application. Choose your category and name your application. Once each tab is complete, you can save and move on to the next. Fill in your details on the Applicant Details tab, remembering to agree to the terms at the bottom of the page before continuing. For individuals only, complete the details of your training in the Training Details tab and ensure that you have ticked any required boxes. Organisations can skip this tab. Complete your responses to the criteria, pasting your responses in from your template. And on the final tab, attach all of the required documents to support your application. Once complete, you can review your application, and once happy, click Submit. And good luck.
Our recommendations before you even open the portal up are to just have everything ready to go. So have your responses for the selection criteria prepared, have all of your attachments ready to go, and then that way when you open up the portal, you're just sort of copying and pasting straight in there, entering your information, and then submit, and it's nice and easy. And then also not to leave it to the last minute. We do get a lot of applications in the last week and particularly on the last day. So just in case there's any technical issues, try and get it all submitted well ahead of time if you can. So do we have any questions?
Yes, from Camille, from experience, is it better to have 2 lecturers or 1 from a lecturer and 1 from an employer for the references, aside from the confirmation they are good to give us time off?
So the question is about whether you have 2 lecturers or a lecturer and an employer. So really you want to find people to give a reference who know you, know your journey, your path, and will be able to speak about that. So, it might be good to have a lecturer and an employer because it's sort of representing different parts of your training pathway if you've got on the job and off the job training. But yeah, really have a think about who can best speak about your journey. And if you want to give us a call and have a chat about that in more detail, we can definitely, we're happy to do that. And then what was the other part of that question? Sorry?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay,
So
that was it.
Confirmation they're good to give us time off.
Yeah, and just, making sure everybody knows that you're applying and that they know you might require time off for interview or that sort of thing. So yeah.
I can add to that. With my application, I had a reference from a lecturer, even though my interaction with him was more than a year previous to that. Yeah. So he had an understanding of what I was going through with my training and how I was approaching that training. So that was a really good reference in that aspect. And then I also had a reference from my employer who understood how I was working in the field as well.
Okay, yeah. So representing both parts of your sort of journey and complementing each other then.
Yeah, I think that the best thing to go for is someone that understands your training and who you are as a person, which for your achievements in that training. So someone that can showcase how you've gone through your training abilities, but also someone that can showcase how you are as a person after that training's completed.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. So now that you've submitted your application, you'll be wondering what happens next. So once we have received all applications, our team in the WA Training Awards, we review them, make sure that we have all the attachments that we need and that everybody is eligible. We then send that on, all the applications on to our judges who shortlist applications and select semi-finalists for interview. All applicants are then notified if they're successful or not. Following that, we then have our interview day, which is Friday, 7th of July. On that day, our judges will select up to 3 finalists and a winner for each category. And sometime after that, the Minister for Training will then announce all of those finalists in a media statement. And then winners will be announced at the presentation dinner in September. So it's important to note that you can ask for feedback at any point in that process. So if your written application isn't successful, it's worth finding out, what was missing or what you could do differently next time. That can be a really good learning opportunity. And same with after the interview, if you're not selected, or, even if you just want to ask for some feedback if you are, it's worth just sort of getting some tips there. And then once winners are announced in September, that is your time to shine, because media might want to get in touch with you. They might want to interview and highlight your achievements. So our team will work with you to arrange those, but that can be quite an exciting time. So if you're selected as a semi-finalist and you get to attend an interview, don't worry at this stage. We'll send you lots of information about it before the big day. So we'll send you a big pack of information. But this is just a little brief outline of what the judging day looks like. So on the day, we ask that you arrive 30 minutes before your scheduled interview time. You'll then have 15 minutes to read through some questions that the judging panel will ask you. Then you go in for your interview. We may ask you to prepare something before interview day, so we might send you a question and you'll have some time to work on that. So then you just present your response to that. The panel will ask you a few questions. Then when that's done and dusted, then you come and do a little photo shoot. We'll take a nice photo of you. We'll ask you some questions on camera just about your pathway and why you chose the industry, or how you sort of made your way on that path. And then we just ask you to complete a survey. So it can be, a sort of half a day of your time to complete all of that. But is a really great experience and you'll get lots out of it. Do we have any questions from anybody? No? Okay. I'll if you've got any questions, please type them into the chat box.
So Camille, on average, how many applications do you receive for each category, and what percentage of applicants are invited for an interview?
It differs greatly. The question is you can all see it. Sorry. The question, how many applicants do we get? It differs greatly for each category. So off the top of my head, I don't know exactly how many we've had, but it can be significantly more for some categories than others. And so, then what percent of that is interviewed obviously will differ. But we do try to interview as many as we can to give people an opportunity, because some people are stronger in an interview than in their written application. That's where they sort of shine the most. So, we do our best to interview as many as we can for each category. So I've got a couple of questions for the panel. So Wayne, what do you think it was about your story that stood out to the judges?
I think the authenticity that I showed in my story, and spoke about my training, not only helping me grow, but also it helped the people that I support grow. It helped my family. It helped the relationship with my partner, and it helped my community as well. So being able to showcase that, in my written application, and then going into the interview and being authentic and telling my story and just being who I am, I think that's what really come across to the judges. I was just myself when I went in there and just told my story, and I think it's a really wonderful story that I do tell, and just about my life and growing up, and I don't mind telling it, and I think that's what came across to the judges and what got me over the line. Yeah, okay, wonderful. And Pen, from the other side of the table, is it hard to decide between winners?
Well, to kind of circle back to the question previously, I've been judges on Apprentice of the Year and Trainer of the Year, and both times has been over 15 applications that we've had to sort through.
Yeah.
And we've had about a quarter of that come through to judging day. And it is. I mean, it's a really close race a lot of the time. There's a few outstanding people. And like you say, some people are better being interviewed face to face and they come over on paper, and vice versa. So that there's that. But there's 4 of us in the room, and we do try every effort to make the applicant feel comfortable. It's not a job interview. It's like you say, it's like a conversation. So we try to make people feel comfortable and just trying to get out of them their best story.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it is hard. Sometimes, the times I've been a judge, there has been a few real close deciders.
Yeah.
Yes. Confirming regional applicants are all interviewed in Perth, if applicable, for the interview process.
Yes, so all of our regional applicants, we will get in touch with you and we'll arrange travel to get you to Perth for the interview. So, if you make it to that stage, we'll work with you to arrange that. So depending where you come from, if you had to stay a night, then we would arrange that.
And pay for it as well.
Yes, and pay for it. Yes, you don't have to, pay for that yourself, not at all. So Wayne, do you have any tips for how to prepare for an interview?
Just be yourself. Like going into an interview, everyone's going to get nervous. So if you're nervous, don't think that you're the only one, because everyone gets nervous.
Yes.
Like even myself, I did my interview for the WA Training Awards face-to-face interview, and I was extremely nervous, leading up to that. But I just went in there, relaxed, and just told my story, and it was, just myself, and it was just about sitting down and yarning really, and having, talking about myself. Don't be ashamed to actually talk about yourself and talk yourself up, because that's what it's all about. That's what the awards are here for, is, to make you shine. So, don't feel, a lot of people, especially myself, felt a bit bad about, putting myself out there and talking myself up. But once I got used to it, I believe, you're credible to actually have that opportunity to talk yourself up. So, take that chance, be yourself, and go in and be honest.
Yeah. And the judging panel, they're people who have been, in similar situations and felt those nerves. They're human beings, they understand. And as you can see by the beginning of this webinar, I was nervous and, miss a few things, and it's just, that's normal, and and it's all part of the process. So and do you have any tips, Pen, for how to keep calm or overcome nerves? Is there anything?
Well, I always think I'm learning all the time as I'm doing job applications, as I'm doing an interview, even as I'm doing this. It's something I've never done before.
Yes.
It's all new. And, you just got to put yourself out there. And, being in front of people like me and other people that have a background in training, we are all fully aware. And also one of the people on the panel, I think you said it earlier, is the winner.
Yes.
From the previous year. So there's somebody on the panel who has walked in your exact footsteps before, or you're walking in their footsteps, sorry. And it's just so, just know that you're not alone.
Yeah, that's right. And I think we've really summarised that. Don't be afraid to show your passion. Just talk about your journey. Be proud of your achievements and the experiences you've had. And remember that you're telling your story, and you can't get that wrong. So, So once you've made it through interview and you're a finalist, then all finalists and winners from each category are formally recognised at the WA Training Awards presentation dinner. This is a really fun evening. It's a great opportunity to celebrate your achievements with all your loved ones, or with your colleagues, with your training provider, anyone who supported you along the way. To come together and celebrate. So it's a really wonderful evening, and it can also be a really great evening for networking and meeting people. And then once we've made it through the WA Training Awards, as I've mentioned, eligible category winners go on to the Australian Training Awards. We've got a photo here of Wayne. So as I mentioned, we have 6 out of 8 categories that are eligible to go on to the national awards. So the WA Cultural Diversity Training Award and the WA International Student of the Year, they don't go on to the national awards because those categories are unique to Western Australia. So this year, the ATAs are in Tasmania. It's a really exciting, enjoyable week because eligible winners from WA will go over, have a week of activities over in Tasmania. You'll have the opportunity to meet winners and stakeholders from across Australia. So again, great networking, just a really positive event to be involved in. So interviews for the Australian Training Awards, they used to be conducted as part of that finalist week, but now they're done online ahead of time. So that will be done at the start of November. To prepare you for that, we in WA, we host a 2-day professional development opportunity workshop in October. So we'll cover things like effective communication skills, media skills, interview skills, and understanding your role as an ambassador. So yeah, that's going to be a really great professional development opportunity for you. Previous winners and judging panel members are also invited to come along to the workshop to answer questions and provide advice. So it can be very beneficial. So that sort of concludes the information that I wanted to share. Do we have any other questions from anybody at this point? If you think of anything later on, please feel free to just send us an email or give us a call. In terms of sort of wrapping up, these are the key takeaway points that we want to leave you with. So just ensure that you're eligible and you understand the conditions of entry. Make sure you're on board with the key dates. Use the tools and templates available to help you with your application. Ensure that you address each point under each of the selection criteria. Definitely ask for help from those around you, from us. We're all happy to help. Be yourself, tell your story, and definitely proofread your application. And then submit everything by 5 p.m. Friday, 28th of April. So thank you so much for joining in to the session. Any questions, again, please get in touch with us. All the links that we have referred to throughout this session we're going to post now, and we'll also send them out to you via email. A recording of the session will also become available in the next few days, and we'll email you once that's ready to go. A big thank you to Wayne and to Pen. Thank you so much for sharing what your experience has been like and sharing some tips with our participants. So nice to have you with us.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, just say thanks, guys, for the invite.
Thank you.
And for anyone looking to put in an application, go for it. You know, you never know where it could lead you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So enjoy your day, everyone, and good luck with your applications.